Hello, my name is Rachel, and I'm here to tell you about homeschooling in a small space. A little bit of background about me. We are just ending our first semester homeschooling. There are 5 of us in 900 square feet. Not only do we live here, we homeschool here, and I work from home as a VIP kid teacher. So we have a very lived in apartment. And during this time, we found 3 main ideas that have helped us make it all work, make it all happen, make it all cohesive and not growling and biting and stepping on each other's toes. So I'm here to share with you these 3 ideas that have helped us, and hopefully they can help you too if you are one of those parents that just don't have the Pinterest friendly homeschool room. So let's get started. The first idea that has helped us immensely is taking on a minimalistic approach. We are new to minimalism. I love reading about it. I love seeing other people's ideas. A lot of times it isn't parents who are doing it, but more like younger generations of millennials that have the empty apartments and just all the space. And so my apartment does not look like that because there are 5 people bringing stuff in and out. But we have had to take on many approaches. I will talk more about how we take on minimalism as a family in later videos, but for right now, just for the sake of using it as a small space in regards to homeschooling, we do have some tips. Borrow as much as you can. Your library card is the most valuable thing as a homeschool parent you can possibly have. Oh, I can't tell you how sad it made me feel to get rid of our books so we would have extra living space, but at the same time, I can't tell you how liberating it is because you just use the library as your personal bookshelf. Very rarely, unless you're looking at Diary of a Wimpy Kids, do you find the library book you want not on the shelf. You can request it. You know when it's going to be there. Use your library to your benefit. I promise you, it's the best. Another tip with minimalism is declutter. I talked about this a little bit already with the books. We got rid of all the books that they outgrew, even ones that I was like, oh no, I used to read this every day. If I'm not reading it every day now, it's gotta go because our space is premium. We have to treat every little space, nook and cranny as a premium. And if it's not being used, storing something that we use all the time, it has to go. If we have papers that we practiced our handwriting and we're progressing, just keep a few so you can see the progress, but don't keep a novel. Don't keep every single paper. Throw it away, put it in the recycling bin, whatever it is that you'd use to get it out of your life, get it out of your life. That is for practice and practice only, not for holding and hoarding, okay? Declutter as much as you can. If it doesn't bring you joy or spark joy, as I think Mary Kondo, I think I named her some sort of raptor. I'll have to look, double check on her name, but she has this theory, you know, if it doesn't spark joy, get it out. Get it out. My last tip on this video about minimalism is pay attention to who you are, who your children are, and who your spouse is now. We are not going to all of a sudden transform overnight into people that we aren't or have hobbies that we didn't have before. So I'm not going to go out and buy skis and have it in my house because I want us to be skiers, okay? We live in the South, that wouldn't even be a thing. I'm not going to house things, store things in our space that we are not going to use anytime in the near future. Unless it's on my schedule, on my planner, it's not in my house. We only hold the things that we actively do now. We only store the things we actively use now. You know those things that you're like, I love it, I got it from someone, or I picked it up on sale and it would just be so fun to do. If you can't realistically put it on your schedule this week, don't have it in your house. Oh, but I want the kids to be older and then we'll do it. We're just not there yet. Donate it to someone who has kids of the right age. Don't store it in your house. It turns into clutter. It turns into space used. It turns into like looming things in your living space when you need all that space to learn, to not get distracted, and not clean up, because cleaning up could take over your life. Don't live in a storage unit. My second main idea for making homeschooling and working from home and all of that in a small space work is free online resources. Started off with Easy Peasy Homeschool, or All-in-One Homeschool, and that worked really well. That is a wonderful free resource. Everything's on it. They encourage you to write stuff down in a notebook so the kids aren't just on the computer all day like my sons would love to do. I have to constantly remind them, get your notebook out. Did you write your stuff down? Is there a physical copy somewhere? You need to be working on that handwriting. So I love Easy Peasy. It was a great launching pad for us. Our next resource that we jumped up to is Khan Academy. Oh, I love Khan Academy. When I was in college getting my physics degree, Khan Academy helped me so much. And now my sons use it, and it's amazing. One of my sons took off with it. He has just been rocking it. He doesn't like me teaching him, and all right, I'll sit back. Every once in a while, I'll be like, okay, can you show me on paper? Because some things, like I said, they don't like getting the paper out. And we often do a lot of verbal stuff. Every once in a while, I'll make him have a worksheet or something so that I have an item to put in his portfolio in case anybody comes knocking on our door saying, how educated are your children? I don't know, that's a weird fear of mine. And then the other son does really well with it too, but he needs the hands-on activities, so we do those in supplement. And I have loved Khan Academy in our lives. It has been a huge blessing for us. I know that there are so many other free resources out there if you're willing to look, but that is a way that you don't have to store curriculum and books and all this stuff. I did buy some curriculum that I just kind of kept my eye out for at the used bookstores. Every once in a while I'll pick something up, and guess what? We've never used it. I need to get it out. But just look online, Google free homeschooling resources, find mom blogs. They have so many things out there that can help you if you're willing to let your children use the computer, use the internet with parental guidance. The third bullet point or main idea for homeschooling in a small space is explore. When I look on Pinterest and I see these beautiful homeschool rooms, a little bit of my heart's like, oh, look how great. But not to like knock them or anything, but how is that any different than a bunch of kids being in a classroom sitting and like, you know what I mean? Like you have the freedom as a homeschool parent to explore the world. If nothing else, go for a walk every morning or every evening or both with your children and just talk about things that you see. Talk about like the nature, talk about what you see and notice in your neighborhood. And then once you do that all the time, you're going to start noticing the patterns, and you can talk about the patterns, and you can talk about the seasons changing, and you can talk about the houses that are for sale. Like there are so many lessons and conversations that you can have with your kids just by walking. Even if you don't want to talk to them, just being outside, they're learning, they are exploring, they are playing, their minds are getting pumped, their muscles are working, they're pumping the blood of the brain. You need to be walking. Nothing is better than exploring. Go to museums. Get yourself like one of those museum cards that work for museums across the nation. You know what I mean? You don't even have to have a set curriculum or idea or like objective in mind. Just go and explore, and lots of times it'll spark the next unit study that you're going to do. Whenever you're ending a unit study and you're like, I don't know what I want to do. If you're not a great intense planner, go to the museums and notice what your kids notice. Notice what they kind of gravitate towards. Those kind of things will get you out, and like there's just so much inspiration. There we go. That was the word I was looking for. Inspiration that can be found in your neighborhood, in your museums, in your community. Go and ask to see the things in your community. Like one time we went and explored the recycling center. I tried to make a phone call, I tried to do the formal, can we come by? And then the lady at the front desk was like, I don't know. So we just walked by, knocked on the door, and they did. They showed a wonderful tour, showed us all the things on how they are recycled, and it has opened our mind so much to recycling and what it really is. There's tons of things. You can go to treatment plants, you can go to the fire station. Like, you don't have to be in your little tiny homeschool room. So much learning happens outside. So those are the 3 ideas that have helped us homeschool in a small space. What solutions have you come up with that work well in your family? Be sure to comment, because I could use some hints and tips too. Be sure to like, subscribe, do all the things you need to do so that we can still be a thing. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.